keep calling, I ain't picking up. Through with conversation, done with games, now you know I'm giving up. I didn't have to be like this, but you made me. You got everybody around me out here thinking I'm crazy. Now our past changed our future, and that's breaking my heart. It's me, SimbaTv. Bang! What is good, YouTube fam? It's your boy Simba coming back here again with another reaction video for you guys today. For today's reaction video, we got This Is How Octopuses End Dolphins. That's a wild title. I didn't know Octopus was crazy and they were out here just ending dolphins. So that's a shocker to me. Let's jump up in it.
When you were a little kid, did your parents tell you not to bite off more than you can chew? Apparently, no one ever told Gilligan the dolphin about this. He became the first known cetacean to die from asphyxiation by an octopus. And although one would imagine a battle with some giant underwater monster with huge tentacles, the reality was quite mundane. The dolphin was just too greedy for his own good. He attacked an octopus whose tentacle span was about 4.3 feet and decided to swallow his prey whole. Actually, this could have worked for Gilligan if not for dolphin anatomy. Dolphins can disengage their epiglottis, a flap of tissue that connects the larynx to the blowhole, to open their throats wide and swallow larger chunks of food. The octopus grabbed the larynx with the tentacle, preventing the dolphin from breathing, and eventually suffocated the animal right during his meal. And although the prey itself was most likely dead, the tentacles continued to hold the larynx in a tight grip, so it turns out the octopus...
He said, if I'm going out, I'm taking you with me. That's all I know. You coming with me. If I gotta go, you coming with me. Hey, man, that's crazy.
Still prevailed in this battle. But why did it even happen? I mean, don't dolphins know what octopuses are capable of? Oh no, they know it very well. The octopus is a very challenging opponent that can't be swallowed like some fish. Before octopuses die, they'll cling to the dolphin and fight back fiercely. So the dolphins have to put in a lot of effort. They vigorously shake their prey, toss it, hit it as if it were some kind of cruel game, only with an octopus instead of a ball. This behavior both kills the octopus and breaks it into pieces that are easier to swallow. As for Gilligan, well, apparently he didn't shake his prey hard enough. Sometimes octopuses fight for their life so fiercely they don't just try to strangle the dolphin from the inside, they also do it from the outside.
Damn!
One octopus was clinging to life so hard it got out of the dolphin, climbed onto its head, and lay hold of its blowhole. That is, the octopus literally blocked the animal's access to oxygen. To throw off the octopus, the dolphin dived, jumped, and somersaulted so hard that, in the end, the octopus dislodged. Actually, you can understand the dolphins. It's vitally important for them to keep the blowhole intact because dolphins simply can't breathe the way other mammals do. However, there are exceptions. In 2016, off the coast of New Zealand, they found a Hector's dolphin, which learned to breathe through its mouth. At first, biologists noticed that the adult dolphin surfaced in an unusual way compared to other members of its pod. It kind of raised its head higher than it had to. Then the scientists realized that the dolphin's blowhole didn't work like it was supposed to. Perhaps the dolphin was injured, or maybe this was some kind of developmental problem. Anyway, the animal refused to die from suffocation and, as incredible as it sounds, learned to pull its larynx out of the esophagus in order to breathe through the mouth.
Damn!
This, of course, is
I'm
simply
telling you,
amazing.
man, they are smart.
I don't know how long it took for the dolphin to adapt to the new way of life, but if the damage to its blowhole was caused by trauma, then orcas are the likely reason. Orcas don't really mind eating a dolphin. For example, orcas are the only predators that regularly kill and devour Pacific white-sided dolphins off the coast of British Columbia and Washington. However, all dolphins are quite agile, fast, and smart. They easily maneuver in the water, dodge predators with amazing dexterity. In short, they aren't the easiest prey to catch, which is why orcas often team up to attack the dolphin from different directions and confuse it. Also, dolphins hunt at very high speeds, which simply don't allow orcas to swoop in and bite them at the same time. The orcas don't get too upset about that. They've learned to ram their prey, toss it into the air, and pull off other similar tricks to stun it. And only after that, they start biting. Scientists and those who take interest in marine life have known this for a long time. So imagine how surprised the researchers were when drone footage showed Pacific white-sided dolphins playing very close to the toothy jaws of orcas. That is, the orcas simply had to open their mouths and make one bite to kill dolphins. But the dolphins felt just fine. However, a little later, it turned out that the dolphins really had nothing to be afraid of. Those were the so-called southern resident orcas, which eat only fish. Dolphins, as you remember, are mammals. And yet I think these guys still acted very boldly. It's not that hard to mistake one species of orca for another, and one mistake like that will cost the dolphin its life. While orcas and dolphins not being on friendly terms can hardly surprise anyone, you somehow don't expect danger coming from polar bears. I mean, they're certainly predators and proficient hunters, but usually they don't eat dolphins. Well, they do now, since the temperature of the planet began to rise. Actually, dolphins rarely venture far north in the Arctic. They prefer the subarctic, where there's less sea ice and more open water, but global warming allows them to travel further north where polar bears are already waiting for them.
Really?
I understand them too. The environment is changing rapidly. The menu's expanding. They need to somehow adapt. And one day, the researchers noticed a polar bear that was eating the carcass of a dolphin stuck in the ice as if it were entirely normal. The bear was also spotted with the thawing carcass of another dolphin, which he probably saved for later. Most likely, the dolphins got to this northern region while there was no ice, but became trapped when a strong north wind forced the drifting ice flows here. In short, you can only feel sorry for dolphins and congratulate polar bears. Frozen dolphin carcasses can become an important source of food for them, as polar bears risk losing access to their usual menu of ringed and bearded seals. Well, you know, the climate's changing and usual prey is moving somewhere or even dying out. Another seemingly unlikely threat the dolphins are afraid of is storms. It would seem this wasn't the worst problem for the creatures of the sea, but storms are such a serious threat to dolphins that these animals have even evolved to predict the weather. Many scientists believe their ability to detect a storm is due to the decrease in salinity that occurs in the ocean after heavy rain. Since rain bands typically occur several days in advance of the actual hurricane, dolphins have time to seek refuge deep in the ocean. Of course, there are higher chances of encountering dangerous predators there, but dolphins are large and smart enough to somehow solve this problem. However, weather sensing doesn't work all the time. Storms Dudley and Eunice, which happened in February 2022, stranded more dolphins than usual on the coast of Wales. And I mean 6 times more.
Really?
Most likely, the animals were indeed washed away by massive waves. Dolphins can also get seriously injured during a storm. And in 2021, something weird happened.
On the road.
Hurricane Ida washed 4 dolphins on the road. It was a coastal road.
That's crazy, though. That is crazy. See, I never thought about that. I never would have thought about that. Like, I know storms and things like that, but you forget that there's living things in the ocean, and now it's on the road. Like, that's wild.
Of course, but still, all 4 dolphins died. What about full moons and new moons? Turns out dolphins are also scared of them. Well, or rather, dolphins should be afraid of full moons and new moons. During this period, the tidal forces of the moon are especially strong. But that's hardly news to you, right? However, scientists did a study and found that the mortality of whales and dolphins is directly related to the lunar cycles. Fluctuation in the ocean bed, increased tidal bulges, unusual currents, all this disorients the marine creatures. As a result, they can lose track of the rest of the pod, end up in shallow water, and die in the receding tide.
Damn.
Overall, disorientation very often means certain death for a dolphin. So does hearing loss. It seems strange, but there are numbers which say more than half of stranded bottlenose dolphins are deaf. The causes of hearing loss are not always clear. Maybe it's old age, or maybe some external factor. Dolphins simply can't navigate by sight like land mammals, so they rely on hearing to determine pretty much everything. They even use sound to find each other. Each dolphin has its signature whistle. Using other rapid-fire sounds, dolphins determine the size and shape of possible prey, and if animals make sounds but can't hear how they bounce back to them, they simply can't navigate in space, and then they die. For example, when ending up in the wrong place. Naturally, if the ocean gets too loud, it confuses the dolphins. They evolved to navigate by sound when the only sources of loud sounds underwater were thunderstorms or unusual events like volcanic eruptions. Can you imagine how loud the modern ocean is for them?
Right.
Huge ships, small motorboats, people looking for oil and gas and drilling something? All this makes sounds. And I'm certainly not a dolphin, but it seems to me that it's like relying only on hearing when you live between a freeway and a construction site where they constantly use jackhammers.
True.
Oh, and don't forget about the sonar tests by the military. When powerful sonar is operating in the ocean, a dolphin can rush away from the noise, sometimes ending up stranded on the shore and die there. Some dolphins have been found to have frightening symptoms, including bleeding in the brain, ears, and other tissues. They also develop large bubbles and symptoms similar to those of decompression sickness.
Oh, wow.
And it's not just that dolphins are sensitive to loud sounds. One diver who was underwater during a sonar test in British Columbia said that it felt like you were being poked in the eardrum right through. In the past, other divers even had to be hospitalized after being exposed to sonar.
Really?
So for dolphins, the consequences can be quite grave. If they don't die on the spot, then after becoming deaf, they can no longer find food and starve to death. Well, since
So
we're
either
talking
way,
about
you're gonna
human
die.
activity, which dolphins are afraid of, we simply have to mention tourists. For example, in 2017 in Argentina, tourists found a small dolphin in shallow water, pulled him to the shore, surrounded him, and started petting him and taking pictures until the baby died. The dolphin could have been saved if the tourists had helped him return to the ocean, but alas. And this was the second case like that in Argentina over a year. Another dolphin died while tourists passed him to each other and took selfies. The animal.
Why would you do that? Like, come on now. Why would you do that? You don't take a dolphin outside of the water. Like, come on. People, man. Obviously, it's in the water for a reason. You know, like, obviously, it needs to breathe in the water, and you're taking it and passing it around like it's a trophy. Like, that's crazy, bro.
Animal just died of dehydration. It seems to me that this is happening because people don't realize the wild animal is actually alive, and it should not be touched. The most you should do is help it or call specialists when you aren't sure what to do. Dolphins should swim in the oceans, not gather likes on social media.
Man.
However, the things happening in the Japanese village of Taiji are much scarier. People of this village still practice dolphin drive hunt. Yes, while somewhere killing a dolphin was considered a bad omen, in Japan they hunted them without giving it a second thought. Moreover, this has been happening for a very long time.
Oh my
since
goodness.
the 1600s. And even today, about 22,000 small cetaceans are killed every year in the waters of Japan using the methodology of drive hunting. It's not just the dolphins that suffer, and I don't really want to elaborate on how exactly the hunt happens. It's pretty cruel, especially given the intelligence and behavior of dolphins. They form strong family bonds and swim together to protect young and old who can't swim fast enough. But what would they do when hunters attack a family of dolphins? They can't swim away, they can't defend themselves either, because dolphins prefer not to attack humans. This is how hunters capture the whole pod.
Wow.
During the 2021-2022
That's so
season,
sad,
at
bro.
least
Look at that.
563 dolphins were captured in Taiji, of which 498 were slaughtered and 65 were kept for aquariums. Dolphins are especially appreciated abroad. For one dolphin, you can get $36,000, while dolphin meat costs only $360. But you know what shocked me the most? The Taiji Whale Museum has between 100 and 200 cetaceans, and their number grows after each drive hunt. And right there, visitors can buy whale and dolphin meat in a gift shop to have a snack while watching the dolphin show. I refuse to comment on that. See you later.
Bro, what? What? That last one really just hurt my soul, man. If you guys like this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button for me. Thank you guys for commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.